Y'all better not come to my funeral with that. MX Bikes is a hardcore realistic simulator. Fake shit. Y'all better off realizing there ain't nothing more you could do with Spency. Hey, more truth than you had, top boy. I know y'all MX Bikes boys missed me. Don't worry, I'm back. Trust me, I'm back, bro. Oh, at a perfect time, too. Okay, so this video is all about MX Bikes 2, my dudes. So, yeah, this is kind of what everybody is describing this new Motocross The Game to be like. I know a lot of people are sort of envisioning it as a MX Bikes 2 style game. Okay, so here's the funniest part about this. Here's the most ironic thing, is the fact that 6 or 9 years ago, all of those MX Bikes boys were acting like MX Bikes was Motocross The Game. I'm not kidding you at all, okay? Listen to what I'm saying here. 4, 5, 6 years ago, all them dudes was acting like everything that this Motocross The Game says it's gonna be and seems like it's gonna be, well, that's what they were acting like MX Bikes was gonna be. They were acting like MX Bikes was the future of motocross gaming. It's the most realistic, hyper-realistic, next-level motocross game. Nothing else is even close, man. This is the most realistic experience you can have in a dirt bike game, okay? All of that shit. All that stuff, all that, it's gonna have esports, online, professional racing, it's gonna be the all-in-one moto game, there'll be no reason to play any other moto, it's the moto game everybody wants, alright? It is just hilarious to me. That's what everybody was saying about MX Bikes, and then now some time has passed, some tea-sipping time has passed, and now it's as if everybody is coming to this realization of like, oh shit, maybe MX Bikes really isn't that. Maybe MX Bikes isn't a hardcore realistic motocross simulator. You know, maybe it's just a good graphic, good first-person camera arcade simulator hybrid. Okay? It's a sim-cade. That's what it has been from the very beginning, and that's what it still is. A lot of you guys have just gotten duped. You have gotten tricked by a lot of these YouTubers, a lot of the, you know, just the visual look of MX Bikes, okay? You come across it on YouTube and it looks like literal, you know, helmet cam footage of somebody riding a dirt bike. But again, graphics and first-person cameras have nothing to do with the actual core of the physics system and the inertia of the bike itself, which is what makes a simulator a simulator, okay? You could have the best Unreal Engine 420 graphic motocross game, but if the inertia of the physics is not realistic and difficult enough, then it's not a full-blown simulator. This is the realization that a lot of people are coming to after playing MX Bikes for a certain period of time and after it's been out for a while. And this is what has sparked this whole thing with all these bikes boys coming over here to try to make this Motocross The Game, which is everything about it that they say on their Kickstarter and their website and stuff. It's like, we're trying to make a game that's not arcadey at all. You know, we're trying to make a hyper-realistic, difficult, challenging, full-blown motocross simulator. You know, it's almost like they are drawing that line in the sand here of saying, well, MX Bikes wasn't those things, so we're going to try to come over here and actually make a game with those things. You know, a lot of guys thought that MX Bikes was going to get updated a lot more over its life cycle. I don't know if a lot of guys thought it was going to potentially turn into that full-blown simulator. I don't really know. But the real fact of the matter here is we're starting to get to that point where it just seems like MX Bikes is what it is at this point when it comes to the physics of the game and the gameplay of the game. With MX Bikes 2, aka Motocross The Game, what's crazy about this is it's almost like the thing that's going to end up killing MX Bikes is MX Bikes. Here's the other two possibilities with Motocross The Game, okay? It's going to either eventually turn out to be just a literal better version of MX Bikes, which in that case would kill MX Bikes. Let's say it's just a better graphic, better terrain deformation, you know, it's literally just a better version of MX Bikes. A better arcade simulator hybrid motocross game. If that's what it ends up being, that's just going to sweep MX Bikes over here into the never ever ever land abyss, and nobody will ever go back and play it. Because why would you? But that wouldn't do anything to MX Simulator. Still, this all comes down to if Motocross The Game actually turns into a full-blown hardcore simulator or not. And the point with that is that gets extremely difficult when you start trying to make a motocross game like that. It just does. It's kind of one of them things, I mean, I'm leaning more towards the side of, I actually think it is going to be more like a MX Bikes 2, my dudes, than I think it's going to be something like it's a MX Simulator 2. Do you see my point here? I certainly think it's going to be more like an MX Bikes 2 versus like an MX Simulator 2. Dogs, I don't know who's lying to you, trying to act like MX Simulator's dead or nobody plays the shit anymore. Bro, I'm literally on that game in a multiplayer server, the multiplayer Supercross server that runs all of this year's, you know, replica Supercross tracks. That shit is fuller than a dog tick every night that I get on it, bro. You can't hardly even get on a regular arcade moto game online and just have full servers on it constantly like that. MX Simulator still has that player base. It still has that dedicated fan base because no other motocross game has made something that's just a better version of MX Simulator. A lot of y'all goofy ass bikes boys tried so hard to make MX Bikes that. You tried so hard to make it seem like MX Bikes was going to do that. And then here we get, you know, 5 years down the road and the harsh realization is hitting some of y'all boys that MX Bikes is just not going to be able to do that. So I think another thing that a lot of people sort of thought would have been a possibility was like MX Bikes potentially being on consoles. We're also coming to that realization that it doesn't really seem as if that's ever going to happen either. So that seems to be another big thing that they're pushing with this Motocross The Game is it's going to be on console. It's going to be cross-compatible. It's going to be all these things, even though we can't even show you gameplay of it. And, you know, what worries me with Motocross The Game is it just seems as if they are basically just describing the best possible motocross game without any real evidence that it's actually going to be that. So what I've heard is they've been working on the game for like a year, but again, they still haven't showed any gameplay. They've just shown some pictures and a bunch of words about what they say the game is going to be. There is no guarantee at all that this Motocross the Game will be anywhere near what they're describing. It may not even be to the level of an MX bikes. Okay? Now, graphically, it probably will be. It probably will be more so. But like every other aspect of the game, you know, all the other shit that really matters, there's no guarantee this Motocross the Game will even be on the level of MX bikes. And then it wouldn't even do anything to MX bikes. It would just sort of be this other thing over here. But it's funny to me because like they're pushing this iRacing thing to such an extent. You know, they're trying so hard to it's almost like they're trying to appeal to like this certain group of people that don't really understand moto games, but they understand iRacing, and maybe we can lure them in because this is like a dirt bike iRacing and that hasn't really been made before technically. You know, they're kind of doing all these crazy things with it. They make their 6 or 9 second 3D render trailer look like more realistic than real life, okay? But not showing you any gameplay, boys. It's always convenient when they don't do that, okay? So, they are doing everything in their power, any little possible way of saying something or doing something to get you overly hyped about this game. And anytime a game hypes itself up to this level, pretty much never does it actually live up to that.